My precious. Cast it into the fire. Destroy it. No. Ralph Bakshi. I feel like my body has just been penetrated with the arrows that Boromir was shot with. It hurts that much. Good God, Ralph Bakshi, what the actual fuck did you do to Tolkien's masterpiece? Fuck me. Well, this is well, the Middle-earth review that I was the least looking forward to do. And can any of you honestly blame me? The Lord of the Rings, not that this is worthy of that title by any means, directed, oh no wait, or raped by Ralph Bakshi. So Ralph Bakshi's The Lord of the Rings tells the story that's entirely incomplete, because this version only covers the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers. It totally leaves out Return of the King. Now, with the release of the most anticipated TV show in recent years, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power on Amazon, I thought it's high time I have more, well, Middle-earth content on my channel. This is, of course, the far less well-known Lord of the Rings adaptation. I grew up with the Peter Jackson trilogy, and thank God that I did. But I never knew that this animated adaptation existed until like 10 years ago, when Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, did his old versus new Lord of the Rings edition. And when I saw it, I was fucking horrified. I was like, what the fuck is this? This piece of fucking donkey shit deserves to be cast back into the fiery chasms from whence it came, and 44 years later, Ralph Bakshi's The Lord of the Rings is still as astonishingly bad today as it was back then. I mean, I have already reviewed the best movie of 1978, Grease. Now it's time to review the worst one. And I don't get those who actually defend this version. And another YouTuber was like, oh, it's not as bad as the Fantastic Beasts movies or anything like that. I'm like, fucking no. The Fantastic Beasts movies are 1,000,000 times the movies that this shit ever will be. And I mean, and I'm not saying Ralph Bakshi was a total failure as a filmmaker, as he was unique, but he was entirely the wrong director to adaptate The Lord of the Rings. I mean, and you all know that animation means the world to me, but in this case, The Lord of the Rings simply is better suited for live action. It is simply not possible to cram in the entire book trilogy into one animated movie, which is why The Return of the King had to be cut. Whereas when Peter Jackson did it as three 3-hour epics in a 9-hour trilogy, you know, that was the perfect way to tell the story. Whereas Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings is the biggest hot mess that he's ever given birth to. Like, And the fucking rotoscoping is just it is laughable. Like he mostly used rotoscoping for the antagonists like Sauron, or the orcs, or the ring wraiths, and etc. But when they shoot the opening prologue, you know, the one ring to rule them all in a red background. I mean, I can't see what the fuck is going on because all the characters are like behind a fucking theater curtain and in black. So we don't emotionally connect with what's going on. I could write seriously a entire 1,000-page novel as long as the Tolkien novels themselves of what the Peter Jackson trilogy did better than Ralph Bakshi's animated movie. But even the narration in the prologue of this atrocity sounds like a British radio presenter, you know, trying to get you in a jolly good mood, whereas the Peter Jackson version had Galadriel narrate, and so we could legit take the Peter Jackson prologue seriously, and the animation in general is well, even uglier than the orcs. I am not shitting you. Like, it's like a budget of $5 measly was spent into the animation of this mountain of turds. Like, and some of the characters' facial expressions, particularly Gandalf, and this Gandalf not only comes across as a fucking creep, but it's as if he's been smoking way too much Toby to the point where he's Gandalf on drugs, like when in Balin's tomb when he's like, fool of a took, fool of a pippin, wolf of a wolfy job. Yeah, that's how it comes across. And even Bilbo when he's looking at the ring run last time, he's like, how dare you make Tolkien's beloved characters come across as crack addicts, Baski? How fucking dare you? But the character they butchered most of all is our dear Samwise Gamgee. They fucked him up to the point of beyond redemption so much that I'm just gonna cry. This Samwise Gamgee is not the brave, badass hero we knew from the Jackson trilogy. Instead, he is, oh my, oh hooray! You know what, I just wanted to grab this fucking Samwise imposter and chuck him into the fires of Mount Doom. Sean Austin will forever be the definitive Sam, not this blithering idiot. They couldn't even say Saruman's name right. You know, they say Aruman just because they think the audience would be confused with Sauron and Saruman. And Saruman's design is all wrong. Why is he wearing a red robe to look like fucking Santa Claus? And he doesn't even have the intimidating voice that Christopher Lee suitably gave him, you know, so you have chosen death. Instead, this Saruman sounds like the Saruman of many colours. This acting in general just sounds, like a... And the voice acting in general just sounds far too pantomime. And can you believe some even prefer this version of Frodo to Elijah Wood's Frodo just because this Frodo could, you know, be a little more courageous towards the ring wraiths. Some even go as far as saying that's one of the few things this version executed better than the Peter Jackson films. Whereas I'm the polar opposite to that. I mean, I much prefer Arwen standing up to them than Frodo. I mean, because it gave her, well, so much more to do. And can you believe Arwen is not even in this version? You fucking bastards. That is just an unforgivable sin, writing out Arwen entirely. I mean, you don't take out Aragorn's girlfriend just like that. And speaking of Aragorn, his design looks like a Native American from Pocahontas. And I'm sorry, Doug Walker, but there is no fucking way in any parallel universe that this Aragorn is better than Viggo Mortensen's Aragorn. Even despite John Hurt's best efforts, his voice sounds far too older for the character of Aragorn. And Legolas just looks like a blonde, pretty boy. He doesn't look anything like an elf. In fact, none of the elves look anything like elves. Gimli is just a total bore of a character in this version. I mean, he's nowhere near as entertaining as John Rhys Davis's Gimli's in the Jackson movies, and even Boromir looks like a freaking Viking. And this version of Merry and Pippin were out of character. They were far too serious. I mean, I for one, am a fan of the Jackson films for making Merry and Pippin more comedic to begin with, to show them real character progression as the trilogy would go on. Eowyn doesn't even get a line of dialogue. I mean, people complain that she was wasted as hell in the Peter Jackson 2 Towers, well, but at least she got to talk in the Jackson movies. It's like, but at least she got to talk in the Jackson movies. Yeah, in fact, this version in general gives the female characters fuck all to do, which is just wrong. And the orcs all look beyond pathetic. They all look the fucking same, unlike in the Jackson movies where there was so much variations in their design and prosthetics. The Balrog looks like a ridiculous moth just with a whip, and the ring wraiths are just move along like a slug. And you know why no one talks about this version of our precious Gollum, because he leaves, because he barely leaves any impact in this one, and looks too much like a dried up zombie. And but Treebeard's design is even shittier. Treebeard is literally like looks like a fucked up turnip with two stubby little legs. Some have praised the Battle of Helm's Deep being the climax of this version as the only decent action scene here, but for shame, because this version of Helm's Deep is a huge fucking dumpster fire. And why do the Rohan soldiers just stand there and let the Uruk-hai shoot them with arrows? I mean, it's like the animators forgot to animate part of that in the final fight, and it just ends abruptly as fuck when Gandalf tosses the sword into the sky, and the narrator's like, and thus ends the great tale of the Lord of the Rings. I mean, and people complain about the ending of The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug cutting off too soon, but you don't just end the story before you get to the return of the king. Yeah, my rage for this sheer piece of shit at that ending was just through the roof. I was freaking done with it and through at that point. So overall, Ralph Bakshi's The Lord of the Rings is the worst Middle-earth movie that I have ever seen in my entire life, period, counting both the live action and animated ones. This version, I plead with you all to avoid, like the plague, and avoid it like the Ring itself. We should thank our lucky stars that over 20 years later, good old Peter Jackson came along and actually did the source material total justice. I give The Lord of the Rings 1978 0 stars out of 5. Fuck this movie, just
watch the vastly superior Peter Jackson trilogy instead.
If I had the copy of the DVD of Ralph Bakshi's The Lord of the Rings right now, I would just cast it down the toilets and be done with it. Whoa! So sorry to the fans who defend the Ralph Bakshi version. Sorry if I came down too hard on it, but I'm just too loyal to Peter Jackson. That's just me. But well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this extreme rant. And what are your thoughts on the Ralph Bakshi, The Lord of the Rings? Are you with me and agree it is the worst possible adaptation of Tolkien's work? Or are you with the minority and think, oh, it actually does some things better than the Jackson version? I mean, I'll be very surprised if you prefer this over the Jackson version, but opinions are opinions. Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and Instagram. And I'll see you next time when I next rant on the inferior version of The Return of the King, the 1978 Rankin Bass one. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.